So maybe good morning to everyone once again, and we start with today's class. So today, what are we going to do? Today, we are going to, so what have we done till now? I mean, I love doing this at the beginning of every class so that we are clear what we have done till now. We started with understanding what is marketing, how do we define marketing, and we kept using the word marketing is understanding the needs of the consumer, meeting the needs of the consumer profitably. We went ahead, we understood the journey of marketing, how marketing went through different phases, and we'll keep going through different phases because change is the only constant thing. Then we further went ahead and I have shared videos about rural marketing and telemarketing with you on Google Classroom. Then we understood the macro and the micro environment and how it affects marketing. And finally, in the last class, we did something called segmentation, targeting, and positioning, where we understood that it would be great if we can make a product, brand, or service for the whole world. So one brand, product, or service for the whole world, but it is not possible because customers belong to different segments, and then we target them and position them. So maybe now we are ready to make that product for our consumers because we've understood the journey, we've understood segmentation, targeting, positioning, we understand the basics of marketing, and maybe now I should start making that product. Hey, hello. How can we start making the product? Because we kept saying marketing is meeting the needs of the consumer profitably, but do we know what do we mean by needs? How do I understand the need of my consumer? I have understood the macro and the micro environment. I have understood segmentation, targeting, and positioning, but I still haven't understood how to define the need of my consumer. And in order to understand the need of our consumers, we will learn some concepts in the coming days, which is perception, learning, motivation. And today, we start with perception. So what is perception? I mean, how do you define perception? And maybe the best way I can help you understand perception is, I want you all to have a look at this photograph and just unmute yourself and let me know how many of you can see a face in this photograph.
Yes, ma'am, we can see a face.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Is it only 5 people who can see the face? Others?
Yes, ma'am. We can see a face.
You can see
Yes,
the
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
And there's a face which is very, very clear in this photograph. Okay, how many of you can see a word in this photograph?
Yes, ma'am.
Liar.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what is the word?
I'm liar.
Liar.
Liar. Fantastic.
Liar.
For those of you who can't see, start with the nose and just see it goes Liar. And now my next question, what is reality? Is face a reality or is the word liar a reality? What is reality?
I don't think there is something called reality. It's just perspective.
So the face is also a reality and the word liar is also a reality. And yet, what is perception? Perception has nothing to do with reality. Perception is what you and I think is reality. So if you see a face, great, fantastic, you associate, you're happy to see a face. But can you imagine those who did not see the face and only saw the word liar? They have a different perception about the image as compared to those people who saw the face in the photograph. And the reality is that that photograph has both a face as well as the word. But perception will depend on what you think is reality, which will depend on what you saw in that photograph. Did you see the face or did you see the word liar? How many of you could see the word liar even without my telling you? How many of you? I mean, if you could just tell me.
Yeah, I could.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
could? Okay, how many of you could not see the word liar till I told you to find a word?
Me.
I couldn't.
You couldn't,
I
so
couldn't.
Rohan,
I
you could?
could after you
No, ma'am.
I could only see
I
the
didn't.
face.
Great, fantastic. So you needed me. That means to tell you that, hey, look at this word. Translated into practical language, your consumer also sometimes needs you to tell him to look at the picture differently. Please do not be shy of teaching your consumer, because if you will not teach your consumer, he may or may not get the right perception about your product, brand, or service. I had to tell some of you that look at the word, and similarly, you may have to tell your consumers at times, hey, look at this picture from this angle, or whatever. So somebody had to tell me how to use microwave. When it came in the market, I didn't know. I thought it was just for heating food, till somebody told me, no, it's for much more. I mean, and I thought if only the thing that I had to do was heat food, I can do it on my gas also. Why should I buy such an expensive thing? Till somebody told me the benefits and told me that it's much more than just heating. It's about cooking, it's about this, it's about that, so on and so forth. Then my perception changed. So don't be shy of teaching your consumer. To help you understand perception in a better manner, let me share a video with you, and this requires a little concentration, so I would request you to look at the video carefully.
This is an awareness test.
So I'm going to start the video, and I want you to concentrate on it.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make? Go!
So don't tell me how many passes it made. Wait, I hope you could count, because now I am going to ask you some more questions, and I would like you to, I want you to go to this website, please. I've given you both the address as well as the code. And once you are there, just let me know. Have you joined?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll wait for another 30
Yes, ma'am.
seconds, and then I'm going to ask you to do a little quiz for me. So those who haven't joined, you have another 20 seconds to quickly join this. Okay, we are going to start with the quiz, and here it goes. Oh, I've lost you people. 1 minute. Yeah, so, okay. Yes, fast. Okay, so 12 people. It's changing. Is the result screen visible to you?
No, ma'am.
Oh,
No, ma'am.
it's not visible? Oh, 1 minute. I'm so sorry. Please let me know if at any point of time something is, because I just assume it's visible. Now it is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so 40% of the people have said that the white team made 12 passes, while 16.7% have said 10. So let us just go back to that video and hear the actual answer.
The answer is 13.
The answer was 13. Okay? So for those of you who said 13, 13.1% people, you are right. People who said 12, you just missed it by a little bit. Now comes my next question on this. Sorry. Did the next question come to you? No, it hasn't. Yes. How many saw the moonwalking bear? And just be honest. Great. So let me just show you the video again. 80% of the people are saying, was there a bear also? And the same thing happened to me also. So let me show you the video again. Let's go back. Can you see the video?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, great. Just listen to this now.
But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Can you see this bear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay. So what happened? We were so busy with what I had told you to do, which is what the video had told you to do, which was count the number of passes the white team did, that we were so concentrated on counting them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we completely missed the bear. At least 80% of us did. But what is the reality? Was the passes a reality or was the bear a reality? Both. The ball was also being passed and there was a bear also which was moonwalking. Both were reality. However, as a consumer, some of us saw the bear, some of us saw the ball, some of us saw both, and therefore those three segments cannot have the same perception. Because for those of us who only saw the two teams passing the ball, for us it was a game. For those of us who saw only the moonwalking bear, for us it was like funny. And for those of us who saw both, it was, what's happening? Hey, what's this? I mean, so are they playing or is it supposed to be a funny video? Perception has nothing to do with reality. Perception is what you and I think is reality, and perception is one of the, therefore, the most important concepts of marketing. Why? Because what is the perception that your consumer has about your product, brand, or service? If he has a wrong perception about your product, brand, or service, then whatever may be the reality, he will not buy your product, brand, or service. And therefore, it is not just important to have a good product, brand, or service. In any case, in no class am I teaching you how to sell a bad product, brand, and service. So it's not just important to have a good product, brand, and service. It is also important that your consumer has the right perception about the product, brand, and service. Any doubt, unmute yourself and ask me, or else I proceed. So what we are going to do today, what we will try to learn today is, as I said, perception. And perception is how we see the world around us. Perception has nothing to do with how the world actually is. It is how you see the world around yourself, how I see the world around myself, and maybe the way I see the world around me may be different from the way you see the world around you. But as a marketing person, I need to ensure that my consumer has the perception which will help sell my product, brand, and service. So my next question that comes is, okay, great, fantastic, but then how is perception formed? Well, perception is formed, as this definition says, by selection, organization, and interpretation. When I say organization, I don't mean an organization. I mean organizing what we have selected. So it is by selecting, it is by organizing those thoughts and interpreting them. So let's quickly understand at a basic level, how do I make my consumers select, organize, and interpret? So as I said, these are the three processes. So when I'm talking about selection, there are so many stimuli around us. I mean, if you look around yourself, there are so many things happening. But do we select everything? I mean, I don't pay attention to anything and everything. I only pay attention to a selected things. Marketing lesson for you and me, the consumer too will only form a perception about your product, brand, and service if first he is aware of its existence. If he is not even aware of its existence, how will he or she form a perception? And how will he become aware of its existence if the knowledge about your product, brand, or service is selected by the consumer? So I don't know whether this ad is still there or not, but this ad used to be outside Indira Gandhi International Airport, and all international flights come late at night. So can you imagine when we are coming out late at night or early in the morning, and you come out and the first thing you see is late night delivery Pizza Hut. You have selected it. You have selected this stimuli. You are aware that there is Pizza Hut in Delhi. You are aware now that there is not just Pizza Hut in Delhi, they also do late night deliveries. As I said, I don't know whether this is true now or not. This is a very old ad, but I'm just trying to help you understand with an example. So this has been selected by me. I'm aware of the company now, I'm aware of the product, and I'm aware of their service also. Is selection enough? No. The next step is organizing those thoughts. Now, what do I mean by organizing those thoughts? I have so many thoughts processes going on. I have seen so many things. It's important that you put it in a perspective. It's important that you paint a picture with it. It's important that you form a picture with it. So how do my consumers form that picture? How do they put it in a perspective? Well, there are many concepts again, but some of them, the first one, figure and ground. So what is figure and ground? Let me go back to my nursery class and your nursery class. I don't think this thing changed. Remember when we were asked by our teacher to draw an apple? So this is an apple and we used to draw the apple, then color it, and then we used to take that black sketch pen and make do the outline of the product. Okay, so what happened on that page? The red apple, it stood out. Figure and ground. What happened? The ground was the paper, which became a little irrelevant to me because as a child, I was so happy to see that little red apple which I had made, and that became the figure for me. The ground went into the background, and that apple was my figure. It was something which was dominating my life. So that when I went back home, or when you went back home and you told, Mama, you know what? I drew an apple today. Look, Mama, this is so nice. You never spoke about that white or black background. You never spoke about the paper. You never spoke about whether the paper is thin or thick. You only spoke about the apple. Is your consumer treating your product, brand, and service as a figure? Or has your product, brand, or service gone into the background? Because if your product, brand, and service has gone into the background, then obviously he is not going to buy that product, brand, or service. Have you ensured that by your communication that your product, brand, or service is always the figure? Let me explain this by 2 examples, because as I keep saying, marketing has nothing to do with theory, and examples are sometimes the best way to understand marketing. I was this was Nano car. I was so proud when Nano was launched. I mean, every Indian was. I don't know how many of you saw that day when this car was launched. As Indians, we were very proud. I mean, this was a car completely made in India, and a car which was, and what was a dream that Mr. Ratan Tata had. If you've read, he said that I saw this family of 4 going on a scooter, and I thought, I mean, they too need safety and security. And can we give them that car? And that's how this car came. And it was supposed to be for that particular class, which was buying scooters and 2-wheelers and bikes. And this car was supposed to provide safety and security to their family. I don't know how many of you ever tried driving. Maybe you were too young. It was a beautiful car. I have driven it. I've been in this car. Absolutely wonderful car. It was such a cute car, and yet it failed. It failed because what became the figure was not the cuteness of the car, was not the great innovation of the car, was not the wonderful work done by the company, was not the fulfilling the dreams of a certain segment. What became the figure was that it is the cheapest car. And car in my country is still a dream, is still an aspiration. A person who buys an Audi or a Mercedes, for him that is an aspirational car. A person who buys some other brand, for him that car is an aspirational car. In my country, car for most of us is still an aspiration. And those people who were buying 2-wheelers, for them buying this car was an aspiration. It was a dream. और dreams cheap नहीं होते. Dreams सस्ते नहीं होते. Dreams have no price. Dreams are valuable. Dreams make me happy. Dreams make me look forward to the future. Dreams bring a smile to my face. And that dream was shattered when, instead of it becoming the cutest car, the best car, the Indian car, the car for the future, or what became the figure was the cheapest car. And therefore, the perception formed by the people was not the positive perception. And among other reasons, this was one of the major reasons why this car failed. That the reality is that this car had 10 other qualities also. But the reality is also that consumers only made perception about some things, right? So that is the importance of perception. Let me help you understand this concept of figure and ground by another example. And I will share a video with you. This is, okay. This is my all-time favorite video. This is a video in which a child learns how to cycle, and then he goes to his mother. And I mean, every time, the first time I saw this video, it was, you know how mothers are, the Indian mothers, we are only born with one organ, that is heart. And my heart literally came out when I saw this video. And yet I'm using it to help you understand figure and ground. You know, I died at this moment. I mean, I thought, oh my God, when will my son grow up? When will he also learn how to cycle? And then one day he will come and tell me, Mama, आओ ना, पीछे बैठो. Oh, the mother in me just died. And I was ready to go and buy the cycle for my little one. Because what was dominating was the cycle in this ad. This is when I died. My God, when he took the hand, oh my God. I mean, this was the moment. I thought, oh, I had to, and I was just rushing to buy the cycle. Out of 54 seconds, 43 seconds of the ad have passed, and I was ready to go and buy the cycle. I mean, I had just reached the door when... Complan. The ad had nothing to do with cycle. The ad was about Complan. But for the first 43 seconds, what was dominating was the cycle. And what was played were my emotions as a mother. A beautiful ad, a wonderful ad. And for those of you who understand Hindi, I mean, the wordings were also beautiful. For those of you who don't, it was a very emotional wording which spoke about how children grow up. And so, and then, and the emotions of a mother. But did you notice that for the first 43 seconds, and the emotions were taken to such a high level that cycle was completely dominating? Could any one of you, maybe I'm a mother and maybe because of that, I mean, I was absolutely emotional and maybe my brains were not working because in any case, mothers are born with one organ, which is heart. So it was only my heart which was going, dug, 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 dug. But, honestly, how many of you thought that this ad was for something else other than a cycle? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
So Aditya, you also thought, I mean, did it come to your mind that maybe they're talking about some energy drink or something like that? I mean, at least that was nowhere, no one saw it coming. The ad was completely, so what was becoming the figure? The figure was the cycle. The figure was the emotions of a mother. The figure was the dreams of a mother. The figure was that nice look in the eyes of the mother. And then suddenly Complan became the ground, while Complan should have been the figure. So people will remember this ad. People will remember, I remember this ad, I love this ad. This is one of the best ads, but I don't remember it because of Complan. I remember it because of the beautiful wordings, because of the way it showed the relationship between the mother and the child. While if I was the Complan company, I would question, hey, listen, I mean, the ad is supposed to be for Complan. That's what we are supposed to sell. We are not supposed to sell cycles. Right? So figure and ground. And the next thing, so as I said, at any point of time, if you don't understand anything or you want to share, please unmute yourself and do that. So yes, we were talking about figure and, oh God. We were talking about figure and ground, and I tried to help you understand that what do we mean by figure and ground. It is important that your product, brand, and service always remains as the figure, while the other things become the ground. It is very important for you to understand that what is it that you want to highlight to your consumers, because that is what will help them make the perception. While figure and ground is one thing, the second concept is grouping. What do I mean by grouping? So we do not buy, let's be honest, we do not buy products, brands, or service. You know what we buy? We buy images. Because if you and I were buying a product, a brand, then all of us would buy the same product. Then all of us would buy the same brand. Why do we buy different products and brands? Because we never buy a product or a brand. Honestly, we buy an image. So when somebody, examples that I've given you, when somebody is buying a certain brand of a hair color, it's an image you are buying. You see yourself out there. Or when you are buying some brand of shoes, it's in a way an image that you are buying. And therefore, it's extremely important that we as marketing people ensure that our products, brand, and service have the correct image. An image that our segment would like to be associated with. You have joined Symbiosis Center for Management Studies. Yes, you have joined because there's beyond academics happening over there. It is one of the leading institutes of the country, and that's the image that you want. You want to be associated with one of the leading institutes of the country. What is the image that your product, brand, or service has created for your consumer? Because if they do not like the image, they will not buy the product. So again, let me show you an example of how a company has created a beautiful image around their product and told everyone that yes, we are different. So let me share that ad with you.
Mama, I also want to go down now.
Yeah.
I'd say Daddy, you know.
A wedding to remember. Tanishq. If you give me 45 seconds, I'll show you exactly how Sankalp generates 1.17 crores every 2 months and weird stuff like yoga t-shirts.
Okay, so coming back to the class, did you see that ad? I mean, what a jewelry is a jewelry is a jewelry. I mean, in the sense they are not going to reduce the price of the gold. So if price of the gold is going high, they will also sell it at that high price. If the price of the gold is going at a low price, they will also sell it at the low price. And there are jewelers and jewelers. And yet Tanishq has created an image for itself. In this one ad, they broke all stereotypes. It was not that fair woman who was the model. It was a dark-skinned woman. I mean, one stereotype broken, and she was so beautiful. She was so elegant. They are speaking about second marriage, and second marriage, if not the man, but the woman. And today is a Women's Day. So they're speaking about the second marriage, if not the man, but the woman. And third, they're showing a caring stepfather. And fourth, they never ever lost track of their product, brand, and service, which is jewelry. Right from the beginning till the end, the jewelry was there, but there was also an image associated with it. This jewelry is for women who are ready to break the stereotypes. This jewelry is for a woman of substance. They have organized otherwise it's not just jewelry. It's more than that. So they have given an image to the product, brand, and service so that your consumer forms the correct perception. Once we have selected, what do? We organize those thoughts, but even after organizing those thoughts, that's not the end. What is still left is the interpretation. So, 1 minute. I always miss on this. Yeah, what is still left is the interpretation. And therefore, when I show this screen to you, some people may read it red, blue, black, yellow, and they are right. While some people may, if I say, please tell me the color. So some people will read it as red, blue, black, yellow, and they're absolutely right. While some people may read it as blue, red, yellow, brown. Because that red is written in blue color, the blue is written in red color, the black is written in yellow color, and yellow is written in brown color. And they too are correct. However, those two people absolutely have two different personalities. They belong to two different segments. Which one is yours? Which one do you want to target? And therefore, what perception would you like to develop for them? Right? Let me take a break at this point of time. Maybe it is too much for you today. Maybe it is not. Let me summarize it. What we have, and this is not the end. I have just covered a little bit about the basics of perception. I've covered about a concept which is so important in marketing and which says that reality has nothing to do with marketing. What has to do with marketing is what my consumer thinks is reality. And how does my consumer think what is reality? Is by perception. How do we form perception? By selection, organization, or organizing the thoughts. Otherwise, you think it's organization and interpretation. These are the three ways in which a consumer forms. These are not the three ways. These are three, one after another. So first it has to be selected, then it has to be organized, and then the interpretation happens. And that's how the consumer forms a perception. I shared with you examples where the communication is absolutely beautiful. It brings that tear in the eye of the mother and or the consumer, and yet somewhere it does not make the right perception. I've shared with you examples which sort of communicated the right message, examples which did not communicate the right message. And both the examples or the examples that I've shared with you, I hope help you understand the importance of perception. If there's any doubt, please unmute yourself and tell me. Otherwise, I end this topic for today. Are we all clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.